Exciting chess news alert. We have now a new world record in chess, and this world record has been broken by the top GM, rising star, and chess prodigy from India, Gukesh. And Gukesh is now the youngest player in chess history to reach 2,700 rating points. And the most impressive fact about this world record is that this world record has been held by the top GM and probably the greatest player of all times, Magnus Carlsen, which is really, really crazy when you think about it harder. So Gukesh broke now Magnus Carlsen's record in chess ratings, really, really crazy. And chess.com has prepared here really beautiful graphics about the ratings, about players when they have reached this 2750 rating points. Anish Giri reached this rating at the age of 20 almost. Fabiano Caruana the same almost. Veji impressively also at the age of 18. Really, really impressive result for sure. Areza Firuja at the age of 17. Magnus Carlsen, as we said, previously held this record, and now Gukesh is having this very, very important title, I think, in the chess community. So in my opinion, impressive, really beautiful result. I don't know where are Gukesh's limits, but this is really crazy how he broke now Magnus Carlsen's record. So as I said, let's see also this current ratings. Gukesh is now on the 11th place. Really, really impressive so far, but I think in the next couple of months we can expect Gukesh to be in the top 10 for sure, especially because Vishy Anand is not playing classical chess anymore. Richard Rapport has only 2 points more than him, so in my opinion Gukesh will reach the top 10 for sure. Maybe in the next couple of years the top 5, top 3. In my opinion, he's also maybe in the later stage of his career also world champion material. So I've prepared an amazing game here played by Gukesh from the Menorca tournament in 2023 that shows really the beautiful style that Gukesh has, and Gukesh is playing really tricky openings. That's what I always liked about his games. Sometimes he's losing, sometimes he's winning, but his opening ideas, his productive progress in the opening stage, I think makes us really, really happy to see new ideas, novelties, improvements of strategies, improvements of sidelines. So that's what we want to see, of course, in top GM chess. And such a game he played against Aryan Chopra in the Menorca 2023, in my opinion, really an impressive game. Pay good attention. Really sharp tactical battle from the beginning, in which also Gukesh produced many cool ideas in an early stage of the game. So Gukesh opened with a move d4. Here Aryan Chopra response was d5, c4, so the queen's gambit. We have now c6, the Slav defense, knight you have 3 knight variation, the grain transpose into the semi-Slav defense. Now comes g3. So see, this move is already risky because you are playing basically now the Catalan opening, but in the Catalan you are delaying the move knight to c3. Basically you're playing g3, bishop to g2 castling, and then after a potential d takes c4, still you have the flexibility to play with your knight maybe to a3, pick up the pawn, queen to a4 and similar stuff. Now when the knight is on c3, many times after d takes c4, notice that the knight can be an object of black's attack b5 and b4. So that's the issue many times when you play the Catalan sort of with the move knight to c3. So as I said, in the common Catalan you delay this move. It's a risky choice here. Aryan Chopra accepted the challenge and he's saying now let's go into a tactical battle. So bishop to g2, we have b5, knight to e5, hitting the pawn on c6, and now here Chopra played, I think, a solid line a6. This is the way to go, because if you play now knight takes c6, this doesn't bring you anything, because after queen to b6 we're attacking simply the knight. You take, and now okay, white has the pawn back, but I think black has also very, very nice ideas here on the queen side with this 3 versus 2 pawn majority. Okay, white will have also his fun with e4, so we'll have maybe this 2 versus 1 pawn majority in the center of the board, but I think the queen side attack that black can have here, I think, is also very, very nice strategic element. So that's why after move a6 here, Gukesh didn't rush, played simply kingside casting, bishop to b7, and now queen to c2. So that's what I meant. We have now already a spicy move, and when I watch now the database, this move has not been played so far in chess history. So this is now a tricky idea. What's the problem? Let's see what happens if you play queen to d4. If you play queen to d4, then the problem is bishop to f4. If you play bishop to e7, then you probably get this one, knight to e4, knight to d5. This would be very important to lock this diagonal. Now, of course, rook to d1. Look at this, queen to b6, then h4. I think, although down a couple of pawns, white will have his fun here, especially because many pieces are now coordinated towards the king side. So the engine likes you also black's position. Nothing wrong so far. Black didn't make any mistakes, but maybe Chopra should have simply taken the pawn and go further into a tactical battle. But he played now, unfortunately for him, a slightly passive move, knight from b to d7. He challenged now here Gukesh immediately. Gukesh plays now rook to d1, placing the rook where already the queen. So now after knight to e5, d takes e5, the d file could be open. So we have knight to d5, a common idea in Catalan structures, in these ideas when we are battling against the slice for bishop. Sometimes we play knight to d5 and we simply lock now this long diagonal. So knight to e4, but of course now when you have played knight to d5, you have left the protection of the e4 square. We have knight takes e5, d takes e5, and so far so good. I think the knight is very powerful here, but you see many times the issue in the Catalan structure for black is that your bishop on b7 is simply not a good piece. It's simply blocked out by your own pawn structure. You will of course eventually try maybe to break and enter with move c5, b4, but it's a long run. You have to play many slow build-up moves. Meanwhile, I think white can play already very aggressively f4, f5, is possible f6, g5, g4, g5. So white will use now this 5 versus 4 pawn majority on the king side and will let this pawns roll. So queen to b8 here played by Aryan Chopra. He is attacking now the pawn on e5, and now Gukesh plays a beautiful move b3, inviting simply now Chopra to pick up now the pawn on e5, and Chopra had already the opportunity to take the centralized pawn on d4. Now he played c takes b3 after a takes b3, queen to e5, but now Gukesh played a stunning, really beautiful opening, new, really theoretical novelty here. Beautiful move, bishop to f4, and this is the way they go. And this move is really spicy because so many things can go wrong already here for black. For instance, if you play knight takes f4, then here comes knight to f6, and this would be such a messed up game here for black. Look at this. After knight to f6, for instance, if you take queen to f6, then the game is over. Bishop to c6, bishop to c6, queen to c6, queen to d7 is even an amazing checkmate here in the center of the board. So you could of course try after knight to f6, you could try maybe king to e7, but now here after g takes f4, you can maybe again try queen to f6, but again you're locking your king out now. And now again with this idea queen to c5, again we have seen bishop to c6, bishop takes, and now again the same pattern. So instead of after moves, you see you can maybe also play here the move queen to f4, as we said e3. Again, you don't want to pick up here the piece. You can of course maybe play something like queen to e5 here, but now look at this. Knight to d7 comes beautifully into the game. Queen to c7, but now a new check. You can cover, takes. Look at this. Rook to d6 is coming. This wasn't played in the game, but I wanted to show you how really brutal this position can be already, how tricky this opening prep was here by Gukesh. Maybe rook to d6, look at this, you played rook to d8, but now rook to c6 is even a possibility. Bishop to c6, bishop to c6, you cover with the rook. Now rook to a6, rook to a8 is winning the game. So brutal attack it would have been for sure. So you see here after move bishop to f4, here Aryan Chopra noticed there are some problems on dark squares here, d6, c5, rook activity, rook here. Many pieces are dancing. Really amazing attack already here by Gukesh. So that's why he played queen to h5. He got out of this mess, but now Gukesh continues the pressure. Bishop to d6. He's preventing now black from castling. He's keeping now the king stuck in the center. We have rook to d8, queen to c5, f6, bishop takes f8, rook to f8, and now knight to d6 simply wins the exchange. Wherever you go, you don't want to go here on the d file in front of the rook, of course. If you go here on e7, then of course knight takes b7 comes with the check. So that's why here Chopra simply took out now the knowing knight here after sorry about that. So after move here bishop to f8, rook to f8, as we said, knight to d6, and now rook takes d6 was played, queen to d6, and here Gukesh won the exchange. Again, the problem is now you cannot even pick up the pawn on e2. Then you get rook to e1, and again you're getting destroyed on the e file. So here that's why queen to e5 was played by Chopra, queen to c5. Gukesh is of course a great attacker, and he knows that when you're on the attacking side, no trades of pieces you should play. You just keep the tension, just keep the pressure. You will have time to trade off the pieces whenever you want, but so far keep your flow, keep your attacking chances now by keeping more pieces into the game. So rook to f7 again. As I said, even if you play queen to e2, look at this, bishop to d5 will happen. You cannot play e takes d5 for rook to e1. If you play here c takes d5, then queen to c7 attacks the bishop. You drop back, rook to e1, again you get destroyed. Look at this, rook to a6. So many tactical opportunities. Black is losing the game for sure. So after move queen to c5, that's why rook to f7, rook to d4. We have rook to d7, e3, keeping everything compact here, glued together. Now Gukesh is trying maybe to kick away the queen afterwards, rook to e1, f4, maybe f5. But now after move f5, here Gukesh immediately played the move e4, breaks simply the position in the center of the board. The king is stuck in the center, so it is, I think, a one-way ticket simply in white's favor. So f takes e4, we have a rook to e1, keeping the pressure around the square e4, and now after queen to d6 that Chopra played, now comes queen to c1, keeping again the queens on the board. Again, very important idea. But now after move e3, we have a rook to e3. You cannot pick up, of course, the rook because your queen is hanging. Now comes here the move c5, and now a brilliant move here by Gukesh, rook to e6, for sacrificing the rook, of course, temporarily, because after queen to e6, rook to e4, the queen will be taken. And the problem, I think, for black here is with which piece to take. What should we do here? The best way actually here for Chopra was to play the move knight to f4, simply allowing maybe rook takes e6, but now after move knight to e6 and bishop to b7, here to play then rook to b7. I think it would be a much better continuation for black, because you're keeping the knight on the board, and the knight is a better defensive piece than a bishop is, especially against the queen. So when the queen is attacking, then you want to have your knight in front of the king. But this was one sequence. Still, I think this should be winning here for white. After move rook to e4 here, Chopra tried something else, bishop to e4, knight to c3, attacking now the bishop, queen to c3, bishop to e4, and Chopra thought, okay, at least I provoked some kind of an attack. I have even the back rank checkmate idea, but now of course queen to e5, hitting the king and also the bishop. You have to cover now with rook to e7, and now here Gukesh picks up now the pawn on the c5, and no back rank problems are there because the bishop is standing in the way. So we have now g6, f4. Gukesh creates of course some breathing spaces, king to f7, letting now the pawn roll here, and now finally he includes also the king into the game. So we have rook to d7, queen to b6, now king to g3, bishop to d5, b4. Very nice move, locking now the whole queen side. We have bishop to c4, and now f5. This is the way to go. You are having this 3 versus 2 pawn majority, so you want to have at least one passer. So very nice move. Now the king can be also included into the game. G takes f5, G takes f5, king comes on e8, king to f4, and now finally Gukesh takes out now the pawn on a6. Rook to f7, king to e5. Don't hesitate. Don't worry about your king in endgames, because in the endgame the king is supposed to play actively. So we have here rook to e5, rook to e7. Okay, you have one fun. You have one check, but nothing spectacular. Here f6, no checks are possible. And now again the king gets closer. We have rook to d7, king to c6, again a new check, king to b6. As I said, it seems wrong to do this kind of a maneuver with the king, but as I said, black can always deliver a couple of checks, nothing special here. After king to b6, we have here bishop to d5. The threat is of course here king to rook to c6. You cannot of course pick up here the pawn, because you get here bishop to c4. This would be of course a losing game now for white suddenly, so you have to be careful. So that's why queen to a5. Now we have king to d7, queen to b5, a new attack here by the queen, and after move rook to c6, Now comes a beautiful, beautiful idea here by Gukesh. He plays now the stunning move queen takes c6, and in this position here Aryan Chopra resigns. So what's the issue? Of course, if you take bishop to c6, then the king gets deflected from the defense of the pawn, from the defense of the bishop. Pardon me. You can pick up now the pawn, but this passer on the b file will eventually win the game for white, and the game was over here for black. So incredible, incredible game here by Gukesh. Incredible attack, really amazing ideas in the opening stage. He sacrificed 2 pawns at the beginning, spiced up the game, attacked the dark squares, eventually got the exchange, spiced up the game further, never really allowed black to simplify the game, found then afterwards the opportunities. Really, really cool game here by Gukesh for sure. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game, and I hope that you're excited about this news. I'm really excited because the newcomers, the new top GMs are coming. It's now a simply different era. Gukesh, Praggnanandhaa, Alireza Firouzja, Nodetbek Abdulsatorov, really, really impressive results they have already. Of course, we should not forget about Vasily, Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru, all of the other top GMs. But chess is evolving, chess is changing. You look at this, how Gukesh is playing the game. Impressive, tactical beast he's becoming for sure. So okay, if you want to see more Gukesh games, here's the link of some games. Here are some links of some games that we have analyzed before. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos. And what do we say? Chess is the best, of course.